Hey guys, and welcome back to the Vancouver Woodsmen franchise here on NBA 2K23. We're coming off a loss in the first round, and I did forget to sim the rest of the playoffs at the end of the last episode, so we'll do that right now. I also forgot to check and see if all of our losses in this series came where we scored below 100 points in all of those losses, so let's double check. So game 1, we won this game by 2. Scored 117. In game 2, we score 86, lose by 50. In game 3, we score 96 and lose by 18 points. So far, so good. Game 4, we won by 7, scoring 117. Game 5, we lost while scoring 108, so lost by 12. Game 6, we put up 122 and won by 10. And in Game 7, we put up 96 and lose by 7. So 3 out of the 4 losses were where the offense scored below 100 points. And the one loss where we scored 108, we gave up a lot of points. So I think mostly you have to target the offense there. But I have a lot of ideas about what to do today. And I'm also just really excited. If you see down below, Turner had 3.6 blocks per game in the playoffs. Payne had 3.3. Both guys were top 2. But yeah, I have a good feeling about what we get done today. But let's start by simming the rest of the playoffs and seeing how the rest of this bracket unfolds. So it looks like Jabari Smith Jr. is your Western Conference Finals MVP for the Rockets. 7-game series, he puts up 22 points per game, 8 boards, 1 steal, 1 block, and shot 47%. The Eastern Conference Finals MVP is Jaren Jackson Jr. of the St. Louis Sound. So they made the Eastern Conference Finals, and I believe they've advanced to the finals as the 8th seed out of the play-in. But he had 22 points per game and 7 boards, also a 7-game series. He shot very well. And it is going to be a Houston Rockets and St. Louis Sound matchup in the finals. How did the Sound possibly get here before we did? They had to win 2 play-in games, and then since then have won 3 straight 7-game series. And they're looking to do it again here against the Rockets. The Rockets did take us down last year in the playoffs. They're back here again. Let's see what happens. The Rockets sweep the Sound to win the finals. Incredible stuff. Jabari Smith Jr. is the finals MVP. 33 points per game, 9.5 boards. Good God. And he shot 58% from 3, 63% from the field. All these numbers are better than what they were in the previous round. That's insane. The Sound got shellacked, but I mean, what a run to get there in the first place. That is pretty much impossible. That will probably never happen again. This year's over, and it's really time now to start the offseason, folks. Let's advance. Player retirements. Kevin Durant is done at 38 years old. Paul George done at 37. Vucevic done at 36. Burks done at 35. Butler has retired. Tim Hardaway, Harrison Barnes, Tristan Thompson, Dennis Schroeder, John Wall, who played for us for a bit, Raul Nato, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Klay Thompson played for us, Cody Zeller, Pat Connaughton. A lot of role players down here. Staff retirements, you got Sidney Lowe, Jay Larranaga, Billy Schmidt, John Bryant, etc. We have 3 Hall of Famers this year, and they're all at small forward. Kevin Durant, Paul George, and Jimmy Butler. All 3 guys make it in, and 2 of them will have retired jerseys. Butler does not. No, 2 of them don't. It's just KD. He has number 35 for the Thunder retired, but not for anybody else. And Thompson, of course, has the Warriors number 11 retired. Makes sense to me. All right, now it's time for the draft lottery, but I'm just going to skip this because we don't actually have a pick in the lottery this year, which probably good news for us, to be honest with you. We'll skip this, and the first overall pick is the Trailblazers. After them, it's the 76ers, the Magic, the Raptors at 4, Hawks at 5, Bulls at 6, Lakers at 7, Wolves at 8, Nuggets 9, Spurs at 10. And we have pick number 21. So right after the Clippers. So now we're on staff signing, but we brought a lot of people in last year, and we have no expiring contracts this year. So we could, potentially extend Trent Peterson or his assistant Will Hardy, but I still want to see, if we don't get things done this year with hopefully a much better team, just like on paper, then we're going to have to rethink the head coach. But I think for now, we rock him one more year, see what we do. If we have a better result next year than this year, then great. If we don't, then we'll change some things. But we have a full staff, so not going to make any adjustments here. We'll just move on. Also, guys, through 5 years, here is what we have done. In year 1, we went 43-39, got the 7th seed, and lost 2 straight games at home in the play-in tournament, and we were out. In year 2, we went 36-46, the worst year of the franchise. We missed the playoffs and the play-in tournament. Then I have a postseason. In year 3, we go 42-40, get the 9 seed, and go 0-1 in the play-in, and we would end our year there. Year 4, we go 47-35, our best year to this point. Had the 5 seed, won against the Clippers 4-1 in the first round, and then lost 2-4 in round 2 to the Rockets, who would go on to lose in the finals. And year 5, this past year, 45-37, got the 7th seed, won a play-in game, and lost in 7 games in round 1 to the Pelicans. That is your year 5, or through 5 years updates. There you go. Well, folks, now it's time for the draft. Or so you might think. I think now, before this draft, I think it's key that we figure out where we're going for this star player. I have not checked any ideas for what people would offer for Bane, so we're about to find out. To start things off, I'm just going to search for just Bane, and teams can tack on whatever pieces they want to add to the deal. But I just want to see, just for Bane, what are the options, plus what are the offers, and then go from there. Okay, so looking through so far, I've already gone through once through all 25 offers. Not a fan of most of them. I think there is intrigue here with John Collins, perhaps, but I think I want maybe a higher level player than that. There's also Sabonis here, which I think is probably a better option than John Collins, but even still, he is 31. I think I want to go a little bit younger. Şengün, not bad, but he is a center. I don't want a center. I want a power forward or a shooting guard, perhaps, or a small forward. Any of those 3 I want. Otherwise, not really. And I don't want to trade Bane for just 2 role players. I want a high-level starter to be probably better than Bane was. So looking through our team, we actually can't even tack on anybody who has this expired status. So pretty much all these players besides Turner, Dosunmu, Tyus Jones, and Don Payne, only those guys right now can be attached unless we wait to make a trade until after the draft, which is also, I guess, fine. And we also just make sure that we take up all these team options for these players, and then we can figure things out. But if we say that we do Bane and Tyus Jones, are there any interesting offers there? All right, so for offers right now for these 2, by far the best one, in my opinion, is De'Aaron Fox. We trade Bane and Tyus Jones in exchange. We free up probably about, what is that, $9 million in cap room or $10 million in cap room, and we also get De'Aaron Fox plus a 2nd-round pick for next year's draft, which we did trade away plenty of 2nd-round picks, so we could use one back. But now I think I want to take a look at offers for Bane and Turner and see what offers are made there. Now, I do want to keep Turner as a backup center for 1 more year, but if there is a really good offer out there for us that we can get with Bane and Turner shipping off, then I will take that all day. All right, so I've looked through all the offers, and there are a couple that have caught my attention, 2 of which I really am considering. The first one is John Collins and Cam Johnson for Bane and Turner. Out of the 3 that I like, I think this is my least favorite of those 3. The next offer that I actually do like a lot is De'Aaron Fox and Onyeka Okongwu. Because if you make this deal, you get 2 guys who are both younger than who you're trading away, or at least the same age / younger. You save a very high amount of cap room making this deal, and you still have that defensive center off the bench like I was trying to get with Turner off the bench. A post defense, he's a better rebounder than Turner is as well, and he can also defend out on the perimeter too. He is only 6'8" though, which does present some big size mismatches, so that is a concern there if you make that deal. The other deal that I liked that I thought was pretty solid was this one, the Lakers. But the issue here is that we don't get that star player back. We'll probably have to sign somebody in free agency. But in this case, we would still keep our first round pick this year, and we would get pick 7 from the Lakers for this upcoming draft, and also get Isaiah Jackson to again be that defensive rebounding center off the bench. Jackson's a guy who has A- post defense, A rebounding, B+ potential, but he's already age 25. He can score inside. He's 6'10", and I think Turner is 6'11", 6'10", 6'11". So yeah, you get a defensive rebounding presence, and we weren't getting offense from Turner in the first place, so you don't really lose anything there. This is a possible option here, but the only issue why I haven't taken some of these deals, and here's another good one too, is Anthony Simons and Cam Thomas for Bane, Turner, and our first round pick this year. These guys are both younger than Bane and Turner. They're both at a good overall. Simons is coming off 1 year in Brooklyn, where he scored. Hold on. I can find it. 15.7 points per game. Only 4.1 assists as the starting point guard. 46%, 47% from the field. Really good three-point shooting and free throw shooting. So not really the passing point guard that I kind of want on this team. Simons also has a 79 shot tendency with a dish to open man tendency of 40. So he's going to be shooting a lot if we get him. 22 badges here, which is nice across 3 different areas. None for defense though. And I really don't want to bring in somebody who is a really good offensive player but can't play defense. I'm trying to get a guy who can do both. We've seen those offers. I think I'm going to wait now until after the draft. I don't think I want to trade our pick really. I want to get through the draft and maybe we could trade that player after they're drafted or something. I'm not really sure, but we can if we need to. We'll see what happens in this draft. Let's go. But first overall pick, Trailblazers on the clock. They take Lee Edwards out of Slovenia, 7'2" guy. Honestly, did not know much about him, so that's really intriguing. Next up, Dedrick Sloan. He goes to the 76ers out of Northwestern, also a 7'2" center. The Magic at pick 3 select Brent Davis, the point guard out of Georgia Tech, 6'3". They have a really young team, but kind of like the Thunder, eventually you're going to have too many. Dario Dragic goes at pick 4 to Toronto, 6-foot point guard out of Michigan. Next up are the Hawks. They take center Chris Lewis out of Drake, 7'2", just like the other guys. The Bulls at pick 6. They take shooting guard Sylvester Hammonds. Now, I was intrigued by him, but you know, I don't want to draft another guard unless it actually makes sense for us to do. I don't want to trade up for a guard and not get rid of somebody. But the Lakers are on the clock, and we'll see if they offer anything different for that pick. No offers were found. Okay. The Lakers select Ernest George, power forward out of Fordham. We had him on our draft board. He's 6'8". Really good shot blocker. Timberwolves next up at pick 8. They will trade this pick and Aaron Gordon for Ben Simmons and a top 3 protected first-round pick from the Celtics in 2 seasons. So Boston trades up, and they take center Reggie Stewart Jr. out of Loyola Marymount, 6'11 guy. Comparisons to Mitchell Robinson because he's on the Celtics and he's about to get released. Vladimir Lukovsky goes here to the Nuggets at pick 9. Spurs at 10, they take Orlando Batista, shooting guard out of Spain. So we could have traded up for him, but I think I want to get a guy who's already really, really good right now. Justin Vincent goes next at pick 11, also on our draft board. The Pistons take Ted Stone, also on our draft board. Small forward, 6'10". Nets next up. They're going to trade this pick and Francis Love for De'Aaron Fox in the first overall. The first round pick for the Kings at pick 23. So De'Aaron Fox ends up getting traded, but not to us. He goes over to whoever traded that pick. I forgot who it was. The Spurs. Warriors next up. They take Jalen Shepard, 6'7" shooting guard. Suns next up. They take power forward Barry Harper out of TCU. Jazz back up. They take Lenny Ware out of Drake, 6'3" shooting guard. Talked about him a little bit. The Sound, who lost in the finals, they take Cecil Arnold, 7'1" center out of Pepperdine. Next up are the Magic. Already had one pick. They're going to trade this one and Jaden McDaniels for Gary Trent Jr. and the Knicks 2029 first round pick unprotected. And the Knicks traded up to draft Terrence Strickland, a 6'10" center. So a lot of centers going here in this draft. And they already have Charlie White the third. So interesting pick there for them. The Wizards pick before us. They will, no, 2 picks before us. They'll trade this one just straight up for a first round pick next year. Interesting. So the Kings trade up again, and they take Frankie McDonald out of Richmond, 5'10", point guard. He is short for a pro player. Next up, the Clippers pick before us. They take Clayton Martin Jr. out of Spain, 7-foot center. Now, if nobody is available that I actually want right here, or if they're going to go later on, I might even trade back here. So let's see what's available for us. Okay, so we have 3 guys left on our draft board. It's Joel Carney, Eldon Evans, and Reed Wall. Now, out of guys we know the most about, it's Carney and Eldon Evans. We know that Evans now is like a 67 overall, has B+ potential perhaps. I think I'm good. I think I would rather take Carney or Wall. We don't know a lot about Wall for sure. So this is going to be either a pick where we're just kind of grasping at straws for a 6'1" point guard who could be a really good scorer already. We don't know about his potential. We don't know about his badges. Or we could take Carney, who is also 19 years old, and he has 1 badge, volume shooter, and B- 3-point scoring, C+ mid-range, C- inside scoring. He has a lot of room, well, not room to grow, but he has a lot of good outlook here. He's got A- potential too. Tough choice, but Carney is also 6'5" at shooting guard, 19 years old. We know his potential. I think he's the safer pick here, and he's also already better than Evans is. And I would just rather take a guy that we know more about, a better idea of the kind of player that he is. He'll shoot a lot, but I still think he could be pretty much the Azette replacement for us, and probably already in a really good spot shooting-wise. So we're going to draft Joel Carney, and he'll play off the bench for us. Zach Harper says that Carney is a fan favorite at Oregon State for his willingness to sacrifice his body for loose balls, and he expects that to continue for the Woodsmen fans if he keeps it up. So that sounds good to me. Grizzlies next up, they take power forward Grant Cooper The Nets next pick, they take Bo Erickson. The Pacers select Sidney Haynes. So many centers going in this draft. The Warriors will draft Perry Irving out of Duke, 7-1 center. Worries about James Wiseman. Pistons, they take small forward Carl Jennings out of Gonzaga. The Orlando Magic take power forward Brendan Wade out of Cincinnati. The Cavaliers take Sasa Zagoric out of Slovenia. The Mavericks on the clock, they take point guard Reed Wall. So that's what we thought about taking here. Then Rock Pavic out of Slovenia goes to the Pelicans. The Thunder, 31st pick, they take Willard Lawrence out of Nevada, power forward. And the last pick of the first round goes to the Rockets. They select center Kobe Bosch out of Oregon State, same place that Carney went to. So we have simmed to the end into our draft summary here. We had no second round picks, so we did not miss anything there. Let's go through these prospects real quick. First overall was Lee Edwards, 7 badges, 76 overall. And he has A potential. Dedrick Sloan, 80 overall, 4 badges to the 76ers, B+ potential. Brent Davis, 77 overall, 19 years old, A- potential. Dario Dragic, 77 overall, really good player, B+ B potential. So he'll be a missed pick there. Chris Lewis, 79 overall, B potential. He had 3 badges. Dragic had 2. Brent Davis had 7. Sylvester Hammonds, 76 overall, 22 years old, 3 badges. And he has A- potential. Ernest George, 76 overall. He's got A- potential and no badges. Reggie Stewart, 3 badges, 72 overall at 22 years old. And he's got A potential. So kind of a late bloomer. Vladimir Lukovsky, 73 overall, 19 years old. A potential and no badges. Orlando Batista, who we could have maybe potentially traded up for. But 4 badges, 76 overall, 19 years old. He has B potential, so actually kind of a miss there. Dustin Vincent, 74 overall, 1 badge, 20 years old. B+ potential. Ted Stone, 74 overall, 19 years old, B+ potential and no badges. Freddie Lambert, 7 badges, 74 overall, 20 years old. A- potential. Jalen Shepard, 75 overall, 22 years old, 6 badges, and B potential. Barry Harper, 75 overall, no badges, 21 years old, B potential. Lenny Ware, 73 overall, 2 badges, 23 years old, A- potential. Cecil Arnold, 2 badges, 76 overall, 20 years old, B+ potential. Terrence Strickland, center, 3 badges, 77 overall, 22 years old, B potential. Frankie McDonald, 73 overall, B potential. That's a really short point guard. The Clippers got Clayton Martin Jr., 2 badges, 77 overall, 19 years old. He has B potential. Now the truth. Joel Carney, 1 badge, is a 71 overall, 19 years old, and he actually is a pretty decent mid-range and 3-point scorer and is already in a good spot to start his career for inside scoring. Defense also at a relatively decent starting point. I think if we do this right, he could have a lot more growth than Azette did. And he's got A- potential. We have to capitalize on this. We have to play him a good amount. He's got an 80 shot tendency, so he's going to be shooting the ball for sure. And his dish to open man is 50. Not entirely high, and he will touch the ball quite a bit. If we bring him off the bench with Wellington and Asumu, that could be a really high-powered offense off the bench, which could be really good for us. Grant Cooper, no badges, 76 overall, 22 years old. B potential. Bo Erickson, 1 badge, 75 overall, 21 years old, B potential. Sidney Haynes, no badges, 75 overall, B potential. Perry Irving, 73 overall, B plus potential. So good pick there by the Warriors. Carl Jennings, 1 badge, 75 overall, B potential. Magic took Brendan Wade, no badges, A minus potential at 72 overall, a good pick. Hope they play him. The Gorach, B potential. Reed Wall was a 76 overall at 5 badges and was 19 years old. He's a really good shooter, no, but only B potential. Brock Pavich, 3 badges, 75 overall, 23 years old, B potential. Willard Lawrence, 1 badge, 73 overall, B potential. And last pick of the first round, Kobe Bosch. He has A minus potential. Now today, I'm not going to go through the second round. I'll scroll through and just show you all the overalls. But I will, at the end of the video, not only go through like the highest potential prospects that are like 24 and under or so, but I'll also go through each team's roster just to show all the changes that were made from the last time we checked until now, so we can get a full update across the entire league on what's going on and where. Rookie signing, we're going to sign Carney to a 2-year deal, $3 million per year. Now for team player options, we're going to pick up the team options for Anderson, Wellington, and Fredrickson because we could potentially include him in a trade. He's still a young player and potentially could do something somewhere else. We're going to take the deals for all 3, and we can at least have him for some depth. But now qualifying offers, we could offer 4. I'm not going to offer offers to Blackwell or Zet. I will offer one for Rivers because if he does, if he gets a contract that's less than like 15 or 14 or 13 million dollars, then I would probably actually take that and would bring him back. For Hollins, if there's a better point guard out there that is also as good of a playmaker as he is, then I'll probably not take his qualifying offer. So just in case, as a backup plan, we will pick them up for Rivers and for Hollins. All right, so prior to looking at trade offers, who is available free agent-wise? Well, there are a lot of players. A lot of really good ones, too. Luka Doncic is a unrestricted free agent. He can sign anywhere he wants to. He's got 14 offers right now, wants a boatload of money. We've got $53 million of cap hold and negative 28 in terms of cap room. So once you get rid of Bane, you have a lot of cap room to work with. All right, so after some research, I think I want to target Tyrese Maxey first and go from there. The Sixers also are kind of shopping around Gus Mack, who we thought about drafting last year. He still has A- potential and could be a really solid point guard option for us in the future. He's got a less shot tendency than Hollins does, and he has a very similar dish to open man tendency as well. So Mack has a 56 dish to open man tendency, 54 touches tendency, and a 55 shot tendency. Again, he was drafted 8th overall in the last draft. He's a really good defender outside, and we still have not seen his overall jump after his first year, where he scored 6.5 points per game, 2.6 boards, 2.7 assists, 1.3 steals, shot 42%, but I think he'll get better. That was in 19 minutes of action, and he still has, as I was saying, that A- potential, so he will improve probably like an 80 overall or so by the start of the new year. So I'm going to first offer Bane, Fredrickson, and Tyus Jones. I don't think they'll take this one, but I'm just going to offer it and see if they do. They want a counter offer. Wow, that is a crazy, crazy trade. I am not trading Simon Anderson at all. All right, what if we offer Bane, Tyus Jones, and Fredrickson for just Maxey? All right, what about Bane, Turner, Isumu, and Tyus Jones for Maxey, Gus Mack, and a top 10 protected first-round pick next year. What do they say to this one? Nope. What if we take off the pick? They still say no. Alright, screw the Maxey trade. I tried so many different options and they were not biting, so that's not going to happen. This is pretty much the list that I'm choosing from. I pretty much put it down to A- inside scoring, A- 3-point, and A- defense on the perimeter. So that's what I was looking for. These are all the players that match that. So I chose Maxey first. Well, there's also Jaylen Brown, who is 30 years old, 87 overall, 25 badges. Unsure about how worse he'll get. There's also Franz Wagner on the Magic, who just keep drafting young players. We could go after him. Last year, he had 22.6 points per game, 5.5 boards, 3.6 assists. Shot very well in all three phases of the game. Let's see if they might be willing to part with him. We have made a trade with the Orlando Magic for Franz Wagner. The Woodsmen trade away Desmond Bane, Miles Turner, our 2031 first-round pick, unprotected, and Magnus Fredriksson, all just to get Franz Wagner. So in that case, we're going to start Anderson back at shooting guard. We'll have Wagner play small forward because he is 6'10", and he's a really good defender, so we can put him on any guard or forward that we need to play defense. A lot of options here to put him on. And now we can go sign some big free agents too. That freed up almost $22 million in cap room. We still have 53 on hold, so a lot of money to spend, or that we could spend here. And let's find out who we want to target. We know that we have Payne as our starting center. Still have not seen his player progression yet. But I want to target power forward and maybe think about a point guard as well. Alright, so for the point guards that I'm looking for, I'm looking at the dish to open man tendency, and there really aren't a lot of options that have the high tendency that are also good players besides Edward Carney, who has not been a good scorer compared to Hollins. There's also Hollins we could bring back. And there is Pete Sharp. I think I'm willing to wait a couple of days and see if offers are made for Hollins. I don't think there have been any made. Yeah, for Hollins so far, no offers have been made, so he is still restricted. And I think we could just wait and see if he ends up being signed. And then based off of that, we can make a move. But what about power forward? Rivers is down here. He's still 23 years old, 81 overall. No other offers right now. And he is kind of wanting around $19 million. So even if we do get him back, I think he would come off the bench, to be honest. I think he would be another piece of that bench team. If we go somewhere else, maybe like, Jeremy Sochan perhaps, or Henrik Eklund or Underwood, if either of those guys don't get brought back by their own teams, they could bring in a guy like Sochan. Maybe he's a better offensive player than Rivers is. Sochan last year had 13.3 points per game, 5.9 rebounds, 3.7 assists, shot 47% from the field, 42% from 3, and 67% at the line, and 27.3 minutes per game. Rivers had 13.5 points per game, 7.2 boards, 2.2 assists, shot 46%, 39 from 3, 60% at the charity stripe, and 29 minutes of action. So shooting-wise, they're all worse than Sochan. Rebound-wise, it's higher. Points per game was about the same. Assists was higher for Sochan, and less minutes. Sochan also has a shot tendency of 74, which is not as high as Anderson or Franz Wagner, so don't have to worry about him taking shots away from those guys. And also for Hollins, the only high shot tendency he has is for threes. So I think for him, if we bring him back, which I don't think is a bad idea, we could just adjust his play calling to make sure that when he has the ball, he's not really at the three-point line with a good shot chance. Sochan, though, also has no badges compared to Rivers, so that's also concerning. We could look somewhere else instead. So I think whoever we get at power forward to start, I don't want them to have a high shot tendency. And Keldon Johnson only has one of 67. And he's been pretty solid these last couple of seasons. He's got 10 badges, 2 for finishing, 6 for shooting, 1 for playmaking, 1 for defense. And he is coming off a season where he scored 14.3 points per game, 4.5 boards, 2.1 assists, 49% from the field, 42% from 3, 66 at the line, and 28 minutes a game. If we bring him in, I think he's another guy that can provide some offense for you. He will probably end up scoring less per game. And we would probably have to end up maybe putting him at small forward and putting Wagner at power forward instead. But he also mainly plays power forward, so he could stay there too unless we get a mismatch somewhere. But he can really just do it all. Really good inside scorer and shooter. Can play make, really solid defender, can rebound, high IQ. Let's throw an offer out there. Why not? And because he's 27, not really sure what to expect from him watching wise, I'm going to go with a 2-year deal. And we'll just do a straight up 2-year deal. We'll lower the offer a little bit, so the cap hit isn't too bad. He's expecting like $25 million. So I'm going to lower it to around there. Here we go, $25 million. We'll submit that offer. For backup center, I think we go back to Ivica Zubac. I think we know what we get from him. So it's also a pretty cheap deal that he won. It's like $5 million. So make this 1 year. We'll actually offer him like just below 6. He declined the offer, so let's offer a bit more. Let's try like 7.5 million. Okay, he's going to consider that one. So Keldon Johnson has agreed, as has Zubac. We're going to renounce the rights to Rivers, renounce the rights to Azette, renounce the rights to Hollins. They should be still kept as restricted free agents, I believe. But we're going to decline the ones for Azette and Blackwell, obviously. And hopefully Keldon Johnson agrees like fully to this. We have signed Keldon Johnson and Ivica Zubac in moratorium. They have joined our team. So now we have Simon Anderson, Franz Wagner, Keldon Johnson, Sunmu, Wellington, Zubac, Tyus Jones, Don Payne, and Joel Carney. So this does make Hollins and Rivers unrestricted, so I will be keeping tabs on them. I'm not entirely opposed to starting Wellington or Dosunmu at point guard, but the only real thing about that is that I want a guy who is going to pass the ball and not shoot, because now we have essentially 3 guys who are going to be taking shots. It's going to be Anderson, then Wagner, then Keldon Johnson. And I think with those 3 guys on the court, you see less shots from Hollins, but better passing. So I am going to offer him a contract here to come back. We're going to do, I think I want to do a 2-year deal for him. And I'll offer him like around $9 million. Like right here. Rivers also becomes unrestricted, and he still wants around $18 million. He's not going to get that much money. We only have $15 million in cap room, and we've already made 2 offers. So I think we'll keep tabs on him. But we also no longer have his bird rights, so that is unfortunate. On day 4 of 12, Hollins has returned on a 2-year, $19.29 million deal. So we now have like $5 million in cap room. But if I trade Tyus Jones, that could open the opportunity to potentially bring back Rivers on a really cheap contract compared to what he wants. And I think we just don't need Tyus Jones anymore. So let's see what people are going to offer for him. Tyus Jones probably on the move again. And the Spurs are offering 2 picks. A first-round pick in 2028 that's top 10 protected. And a second-round pick in 2029. We could use some more draft picks just to have. So I think this is a good move to make. All right, so now we have $13.6 million available. Rivers, no offers yet. I think I'll still wait on him. All right, it's day 9, and Rivers still has no other offers out there. I really don't want him to go to another team on a really cheap deal, so I'm going to offer him the most that we can, which is, well, that's more than I actually want to offer him. If he takes this one, 2-year deal, $13.6 million in year 1. He says no right now. Gonna try again on the next day. No. What about the next day? No. All right, now it's day 12. He still has no other offers. I think we have to make one, and I think he has to take it, right? He declines it, but the offer should still stand. So, like, hopefully he'll change his mind, but if not and he signs somewhere else, I'm going to be pretty upset. I wish that I would have kept the qualifying offer on him, but what can you do? Well, we simmed through, and he did not take the deal. And so far, he's really not taking these deals. So let's try 2-year deal, backloaded, with a player option in year 2. Doesn't have any other offers. I don't want to lose out on him, but he's not taking it. So I think we have to like wait or something. But if we send to the next season, he'll be signed to a different team. We also still only have like 9 players on the roster because I was focusing on him mainly. So we still have to sign some other guys too. And now for player progression. Anderson goes up 1 overall. Gets better at inside scoring and basketball IQ. Franz Wagner stays the same. Anderson, by the way, pretty much keeps his badges as they were. Unless a couple of them got upgraded to... Yeah, so catch and shoot was silver. I think it's up to gold now. So a couple of these got better as the year went on. Wagner stays the same. Keldon Johnson better on defense and rebounding. Disumu gets increases to rebounding as well. Wellington goes up 1 overall, but really does not change that much. Zubats goes up in IQ. That's it. Hollins goes up on IQ. That's it. Don Payne goes up by 3. Better mid-range, scoring, and IQ. Potential still at A. And Carney as is. All-Star City selection. It's Cleveland, Ohio. Why in God's name there? Gonna try and sign Rivers one more time. Please take the deal. I don't want to lose you, but he's gone if he takes a different offer. We have simmed to next year, and we open the season at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Rivers is still here as a free agent, but the CPU did fill out the rest of our roster by just signing some low-level players. So not sure if he would even take a deal that we can even offer right now. All right, so we really just can't bring back Rivers right now, but here is what we're going to start the year with. Will Hollins at point guard playing 30 minutes a game. At shooting guard, Simon Anderson, 38 minutes a game. At small forward, Franz Wagner, 87 overall, 37 minutes per game. Keldon Johnson at power forward, 84 overall, 30 minutes a game. Don Payne at center, 30 minutes a game. That's your starting 5 right there. Off the bench, we're going to have Disumu with 20 minutes a game. Wellington, 20 minutes a game. Zubats, 18 minutes a game. And then Carney, 17 minutes a game. It's a bit of a small ball lineup, but really you have 3 guards here who are at least 6'4". Disumu and Wellington are both 6'4", and Carney is 6'5". So he could play small forward. In fact, that's probably where he'll be playing if he does come in. But also, when they come in, you'll have either Anderson, Wagner, or Johnson on the court at that time, and all 3 of those guys can play small forward too. So you have a lot of leeway here in terms of what lineups you want. But I think going with 9 is what we prefer because we can also get some really good playing time for Carney. So this is the game plan. So for most players that stayed, I'm going to keep their plays as they were. But for, let's see, for Hollins, I still like pick and roll ball handler. Let's do handoff receiver. Then let's do cutter. And then after that, we'll do PNR point. I'm also going to change Keldon Johnson's jersey number from 3 to 11. And we'll give number 3 back to Hollins, because he was wearing that before we thought about not bringing him back. And this right here is Joel Carney. Not going to change anything about him. I think I like how he looks, except for his number. He cannot be wearing 45. Let's give Carney number 7. Alright, so here is the list of the 14 players who are 25 or younger and have potential of A or higher. You got Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Calvin Gordon, Josh Giddey, Anderson, Thomas Copeland, Chet Holmgren, Alex Barker, Shadon Sharp, Jeremy Lawson, Don Payne, Lee Edwards, Lukovsky, Reggie Stewart Jr., and that's it. Carney has A- potential, but if you do A- for this exact same stat for 25 years or younger, there's 46 players. So way too much to go through there. But we have 2 players on this list, and that is very, very solid. But what about each team? Well, we have Anderson, Wagner, Keldon Johnson, Dosunmu, Wellington, Zubac, Hollins, Payne, and Carney, etc. But what about the teams after that? The Lakers, they've got Anthony Davis, Johnny Davis, Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, Ross Gill, Book Knight, Ernest George, etc. The Magic have Desmond Bane, Ryan Baker, Jalen Suggs, Miles Turner, Gary Trent Jr., Chris Middleton, Lou Dort, Pollard, Brent Davis. They have a lot of players on their team, and they must have traded Rich Smalls, unless that was the Mavericks who had him. I think it was the Mavericks. Speaking of the Mavericks, here they are. They've got Karl Anthony Towns, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Smith, Otis Morris Sr., who we saw in the playoffs, Tobias Harris. They still have Rich Smalls, probably their starting point guard nowadays, after they did not bring back Luka. They also have Wallace Doyle and Reed Wall, who we thought about drafting. The Nets have Jaden Ivey, Anthony Simons, and De'Aaron Fox. A really strong trio there. Wendell Carter, Cam Thomas, Lenny Weaver, Terry Perry. The Nuggets have Jokic, Markelle Fultz, Michael Porter Jr., Cortez, Terry Rozier, BJ Boston. The Pacers have Tyrese Halliburton, Daniel Gafford, Chris Duarte, Anunoby, Elliott Clement, Kobe White, Hans Meyer, and Achua. The Pelicans have Zion, Shadon Sharp, Dugonix, Dawson, Wesley, Diallo, and Charlie Schultz, and Trey Murphy. Or no, it's Tyrone Murphy. The Pistons have Cade Cunningham, Mo Bamba, Lamont Porter, Josh Christopher, Nicholas Lowry, Baliasteri, and Jonathan Isaac. The Raptors have Scotty Barnes, Edwin Morris, Pascal Siakam, Capella, and Mo Hunter. In terms of overall, I think their team so far is the closest to ours. They also have Killian Hayes and Dario Dragic, the rookie. The Rockets still have a really good roster with Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Kyrie Irving, Trey Murphy, Ray Harris, Corey Kispert, Bellamy, Guy Cooper. They won the championship this past season, and that's why. The Sound have Alex Barker, Jaren Jackson Jr., the Time Lord, Javon Davis, Dylan Brooks, Ty Washington Jr., Jackson Hayes, Ralph Simmons. Actually, their roster, I think, is the most similar to ours. The Spurs have SGA and Calvin Gordon, so they signed SGA. They still have Calvin Gordon and Tommy Shepard, Obi Toppin, Nazir Little, Baisley Wheeler. Okay. The Suns have Devin Booker, Thomas Copeland, DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, still a really solid roster over there in Phoenix. The Thunder have Josh Giddey, Chet Holmgren, Klimov, Henrik Eklund, Kevin Porter, and Poku. The Wolves signed Jaylen Brown. They still have Ben Simmons, Christian Wood, Julio Haywood, Dino Jukic, and Walker Kessler. The Trailblazers have Jordan Poole, Herb Jones, Nashawn Highland, Max Christie, Sean Williams, Dalen Terry, etc. The Warriors have Steph Curry, Jonathan Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins, Wallace Nance, Emmanuel Quickley, Monte Morris, etc. The Wizards' best player is Miles Bridges if Banchero is hurt, which he is right now. They also have AJ Griffin, who played with Banchero on that Duke Final Four run team with Banchero. They have Bradley Beal still. They've got Darrell Wheeler, who's got A- potential. They got Malachi Branham, and they got Nick Poole too. The Sixers have Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Donovan Mitchell, Davion Mitchell, Robin Underwood, Dedrick Sloan, who they drafted, I believe, first overall, or was it second overall, somewhere around there, top 3, top 2 pick. They bring in Agbaji, they have Gobert, and they still have Gus Mack too, who's up to a 76 overall or so. And this potential has gone down to a B, so probably was a good choice not to make that trade. The Bucks have Giannis, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Vassell, so a really strong trio there. Moses Moody, Gerard Bass, and more. The Bulls have DeJounte Murray, Zach LaVine, Ellis Wright IV, Charlie Wright IV, Josh Hart, Frederick Dennis, and more. The Cavs have Evan Mobley, Garland, Jarrett Allen, Cole Anthony, Terry Eason, Lawson, and Jakob Poeltl. The Celtics have Luka and Tatum. How is anybody going to stop this team? What? The Celtics bring in Luka after not really having a second guy alongside Jaylen Brown, or Tatum rather. But now they have two of the best players in the entire league. They also have Bryce Reeves, Rancotti, and Guzman. So if you can pretty much stop one of their two stars at all, you're probably going to win the game, because their supporting cast is not very good at all. The Clippers still have Lonzo Ball, Anthony Edwards, Paolo Pacciani, Bobby Portis Jr., Thomas Savage, Markkanen, Clayton Martin Jr. Still a pretty solid roster, a pretty good playoff team here. The Grizzlies still have Ja Morant, Zaire Williams. They bring in Vanderbilt. They've got Boris Perkins, Rodney McLeod, Maggette. They have 4 decent centers here that are going to be all fighting for some playing time. The Hawks have Trae Young and John Collins still, with Bryant Lambert, Chris Lewis, Quentin Grimes, Nelson Daniel, and Pete Sharp. The Heat still have Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. They bring in Jamal Murray. They still have Nikola Jovic. They've got Dustin Vincent, who they drafted. But overall, this is kind of a weak team. You got 2 really solid players with Hero and Bam. But after that, it really drops off. The Hornets still have LaMelo. They also have Wendell Anderson, but his supporting cast is really not good at all. It's even worse than the one for the Heat. The Jazz next up, they've got RJ Barrett, who they signed to a 4-year deal. They also have D'Angelo Russell. This is going to be a very interesting team to watch for shooting the ball, because Barrett and Russell are going to just rattle off some shots. Sabonis will too. They've also got Patrick Williams and Chase Peterson, Colin Sexton as well. Wow, they're going to be just chucking shots this entire time. Kings, I believe, are the last ones up. They've got Alperen Şengün, Sadiq Bey, Kyle Kuzma, Zeke Naji, Keegan Murray, Okongwu, Jalen Williams. The Knicks actually still have a team here. B.I., Enrique Rivera, Jalen Brunson, Andre Temple, Ralph Nicholson. Pretty interesting team here, actually. Could make some noise in the playoffs, similar to ours. But that is your league updates. And the start of the year is here. We're going to sim the first day before our game. And these are what the starting lineups look like for opening nights. They've got Ben Simmons, Jaylen Brown, Julio Haywood, Kristaps, and Kessler. So a very, very tall lineup. We've got Hollins, Anderson, Wagner, Johnson, and Don Payne. Alright guys, well that is all I have to show you guys today. I am frankly kind of surprised, at this point, how this unfolded compared to what I thought would happen. I thought we would still have Miles Turner, but we don't, and that's fine. I think that we still have a really solid option as a backup in Zubats. I'll set up the very specific rotation timeline in my own time. I'll set up all the play calling for the new players we have, like I did for Hans, like I showed you guys. I'll also set up the training. I'll set up the mentorship program, all that good stuff between now and next episode. So please, guys, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on how the trade unfolded, how the signings unfolded, how the draft went, and just your thoughts about the entire offseason in general. And please like and subscribe as well. And I'll see you guys on opening night in year 6. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.